I guess how have you been settling into Port Adelaide?
Yeah, the team's been really good. I've loved my time here so far. The move was, it feels like it was a long time ago now, so I've settled in really quickly and really nicely. Yeah, coming from Melbourne, although I was a Canberra boy at heart, so this feels a lot like Canberra to me, so it feels like home.
Is it nice to be a bit closer to friends and family, if it is, logistically?
No. I don't really know anyone here in Adelaide, but Port Adelaide's my family now, so that's nice.
Awesome, and I guess what are your expectations for the season ahead?
Going off last year, I think Port Adelaide's looking really good. That's probably what drew me here mostly as well, was the opportunity to play some more finals footy in the future.
How did it all happen? When did the first sort of contact get made?
It sort of happened back end of the year, definitely in the last couple of weeks. Once the club knew, Richmond knew that we weren't playing finals, the conversation started where my future would look. And the management and myself decided this probably the move to another club would be best for my opportunity. How
did you feel about leaving Melbourne in that footy bubble? Was that something that appealed to you?
It was definitely a tough decision, but 10 years at a club that there was the only other club I ever really played for, coming from Category B rookie. It was always going to be a tough decision, but the Melbourne bubble and the Melbourne footy vibe is definitely refreshing to walk away from now, and stepping to a new state, a new club is a nice feeling.
Why Port Adelaide? Why them?
Yeah, good question. I think it was more the opportunity, really. I had a great conversation with Kenny, and we'd lost some coaches back at Richmond, and I just really wanted that fresh start. And the conversation started with my management, Peter Lenson, as well. Was really close with the team here, and the conversation just kept progressing, and it got to a point where both sides were really happy. And yeah, my decision was Port Adelaide.
Richmond obviously spoke for a little while about potentially keeping you. Were you when the trade went down, and were you always confident it was going to happen?
I was in Melbourne when it happened. Confidence wasn't really sure because both sides weren't really happy, and I was still contracted with Richmond, but they both came to an understanding and the decision to get traded, and both sides were happy, so that's the main thing. And the club's in a really good spot now, I think, as well.
That conversation with Kenny, can you shed much light on what he said and what his vision for you was?
We only got to speak on the phone and over Zoom, which was, I prefer face to face, but it was good to just get a hold of what he's like. And watching on TV, he seems like a really passionate coach, and I was really excited to play for him. So the conversations were always positive as well, and he had a lot of faith in what I had to bring to the team. So that's what made me confident.
Did your cousin offer you any advice?
Well, he played a lot of footy here for the Maggies actually. So Alberton Oval's been a home team for him, and he loved the club as well. He had a lot to talk up about the club as well with Richo and stuff. So he was confident that wherever I went, I would always play my best footy, but he just wanted me to be happy.
So for that number one ruck spot, is that something you're really confident
in? That spot's always going to be up for grabs. It's a long season, longevity is important, and we've got a great team here. So make sure we get the best opportunities to play every week. That's Kenny's choice really. So if he wants me to play, Jordan to play, Dante to play, maybe opportunities for us to play together as well. It's probably a look he's going to have to explore, but we're training really hard now, so the best player, Kenny will choose the best team.
I was going to touch on that. Obviously they got Jordan as well.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind? Is that the competition healthy, obviously, as all players say, but yeah, how did that sit with you when they've already signed another ruck before they got you?
Yeah, I think that's important to have the healthy competition. I think so. Jordan, I understand his situation as well, coming from the Bulldogs. He might have been a bit frustrated. South Australia's home, so this is always going to be an attractive move for him too. So with the Port Adelaide leaving, departing from their old rucks, the ones they got rid of last year, it was probably a conversation that was always going to happen. Like, we need some more spots to fill, and the competition for a spot is always like an outside noise, but internally we just want to play the best team every week. So whether it be Jordan, myself, or even Dante, it's going to be a conversation Ken's going to have with the coaching staff.
But that opportunity though, I guess you're behind, Nank at the Tigers, you come here, there clearly is that spot though, so that opportunity, how big a driver was that in choosing Port?
Yeah, so something I did experience in my old club really, but with Nank and I, we always push each other to be the best players we could be, so it was always a healthy competition, which is something that I want to happen here as well. We got great coaches as well to make sure that we're the best players every day, so we're all going to improve, we're all going to get better, and then eventually the best team will play round one.
What sets you apart from Jordan? What makes you different?
2 years older than him. I think a tiny bit shorter than him, but I think that'll just be shown, and Kenny will have to choose whatever he likes more on the day. So we all have our own strengths, really. So it's just more dependent on what Kenny wants for the team.
What do you see as your strengths?
It's interesting hearing people's opinion about my strengths, because I just go out there and play footy. I love playing. It's a competitive sport. I'm very competitive. So my strengths, they just come out. I don't really know. I'll let you guys decide that. Yeah.
Was today? Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just going to ask you, had a little sit back with your finger.
Mhm.
What happened then, and how much ball work did you miss?
So ruckman fingers, the narrative. They're always bung. So we eventually got to the point where I needed some surgery back end of last year, at the season's end, sorry, and then there were some complications with the fusion of the finger, so then I had to re-operate on it, and I'm finally coming out of that pink hat phase, we call it here, where you're being introduced back into skills. So now that I'm back in, I'm seeing the surgeon this afternoon, and hopefully from there, I'm all thumbs up, ready to go.
Was today the first day that you'd done some ruck work and matched him for a while?
Yeah.
So you've had a pin put in it? What? So
Plate, yeah.
A plate,
Yeah, tiny plate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little finger. So
Thumbs up was a pun then, yeah.
yes. Yeah.
How'd you do it? Did you? The finger.
Originally, it's just wear and tear. It could just be it's a seasonal injury, something that just one jar turns to another jar, turns into it. Just unfortunately, there's a lot of keybacks out there punching the back of your hand when you're trying to mark it. So eventually, something's got to give. You can only manage it for so long. That's why I needed surgery. So the re-operation was something that was unexpected, but it's what the medical team decided needs to happen. So once that happened, I'm really confident with how my next part of my footy's looking. So
You take the pink hat off, and Mitch Georgiadis puts it on today. He's reintegrating into some drills. It's obviously nice progress for him, given where he's been at. Yeah,
I was unaware of exactly the situation, and since coming to the club, I understand that he's finally coming back into footy stuff, which is nice to see, because similar to myself, I've done a rehab ACL, so I know what he's going through, and it's good to see him finally with a smile on his face out on the track, because he can be a bit lonely around the outside. So it's good to see him back.
How much did you know about Port?
Not much. Yeah, not much, to be honest. Only ever played against Port, never really had much to do with it. So what I've learned, and Richard's taken me through a few things about the history of the club, which is nice to hear, and I can't wait to learn some more.
Let's ask you too about Port's midfield depth. I mean, you obviously had some good mids at Richmond too, but I mean, Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis, Ollie, and must be licking your lips at sort of joining a midfield of that quality.
Yeah, I think I've always been very fortunate to play with some great midfielders back at Richmond, and then coming to another club, I got another 3 great mids and more mids around me that are very experienced, very talented, and are looking like they're going to play some really good footy for another 10 years. So I can't wait to work with them.
Are there any similarities? I mean, you spent a lot of Richmond's golden era at the club. Are there any similarities in sort of quality of players or mindset that you've noticed since you got here?
It's really hard to tell, really. I think every single individual has their own strengths, and from what I've seen, the confidence that Butsy has and Rosie has is so good to see. And Horn Francis is only 20 years old, so he's going to develop into quite the player late into his 20s. So I'm just excited to see what they can do and how they can progress. But you can't really. I'll let the recruiters decide who looks like who. Yeah.
Is there much difference in the pre-season programs between Richmond and here?
From what I've always learned, even being at Richmond, everyone's trying to get the edge. Every pre-season changes, the way it changes, and coming here, it's a refreshing look as well. The one thing I probably notice is the climate. It's a lot drier heat here. Melbourne, there's a lot of rainy days. It's 4 seasons in a day there, so there's a little bit of that. But yeah, coming here, I'm just really appreciative of the fitness staff and the way they approach my history, age and stuff. They're really conservative, and their approach to me was it gave me a lot of confidence with my footy.